to say without any fear of contradiction that the efforts are merely scratching the surface. We're not addressing serious taxation in our country. I have read the tax reform bills, and I want to say without any fear of contradiction that the efforts are merely scratching the surface. We're not addressing serious taxation in our country. And I do hope you can take up some of the issues I'm going to raise. Number one, in this building, somebody said he wanted to set up a presidential library. By the way, it can only be a military presidential library because libraries by former presidents are usually set up by elected presidents. So not a dictator. It will be the first time in the history of the world that a military dictator is setting up a presidential library. So we must qualify it so that people can be able to distinguish between the real libraries and pretensions. Having said that, they gathered here last week. And within a few minutes, not less than 17 billion naira was raised. Who died? Because this is where we must address taxation. How did those guys come about such colossal sums of money in their possession? They belong to us. It's our money. And what are they? And one of them was honest to say, all of us here were made by this man. And what he was saying was that General Babangida used the gun to take oil and gas resources of the Niger Delta and distributed oil blocks to his friends. Those were the people who were distributing. I mean, we are announcing those figures without doing anything. You take the oil block, you go and talk to people outside the country, call it offshore, without contributing anything. They will take the license from you, the paper, and make you instantly a multi-billionaire. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody has used a gun to take your property. He has now given it to his friend, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Secondly, and this goes beyond oil block, gold and other solid minerals are also being distributed, even now. Those are areas we have to address. Can a system continue to enrich a few people at the expense of the others? Those are areas we must address when you are talking of taxation. Again, you take your gun, you seize all the public enterprises of the government, and you distribute them to your friend, either at giveaway prices or outright gifts. They call it privatization. It has just been reported in the House of Reps, an inquiry is going on, that the Allied steel industry in Delta State, valued at $700 million, was sold for $30 million. That's about 3 or 4 years ago. Where we are hosted, this building. To spend the night here, now, I think it's not less than $500,000. It's one of the best investments in Africa, not just in Nigeria. Transcorp Hilton is sitting head of state in Nigeria. Sold it to himself and his friends, this hotel. But I can assure you, at the right time, the Nigerian people will collect their assets from those who have cornered them. In September last year, NEITI, a government agency, disclosed to Nigerians that a few oil and gas companies are owing Nigeria by way of royalties and taxes $6.17 billion and 64 billion naira. Nobody has denied the figures. If that money was collected, the federal government will have taken no less than $3.5 billion going by the revenue allocation formula. But what has happened? I think 2 months later, the president went to the National Assembly and got the fiat of those gentlemen and ladies to take a loan of $2.1 billion to fund the 2025 budget. Nobody is collecting our money, but the president is taking a loan, mortgaging the future of Nigerians and even Nigerians yet unborn. The ladies may also interest you. A few oil companies, we call them the IOCs, are owing Nigeria $62 billion in respect of a law not implemented for 18 years. So please, if you want to collect taxes, these areas you must address. I called you one day, and I'm happy you said you are working on it, and I've seen it. Again, many of those who donated last week operate in a place they call free economic zone. In that zone, we are not bound by the tax laws of Nigeria. In other words, they are exempted from payment of federal, state, and local government taxes. In that zone, whatever they are importing to the country, duty-free, I submit and have made the point repeatedly. That law is illegal, discriminatory, and unconstitutional. I am in Lagos. I operate in a Kenya. You can't ask me to be paying taxes in a Kenya where I have my operation, while somebody has a factory valued at over $20 billion and is not paying taxes. What kind of taxation regime is that? All the things imported by him, duty-free. Whatever I import, I pay duties. It's discriminatory. It's illegal. It's contrary to Section 42 of the Constitution and Article 2 of the African Charter on the Human and People's Rights. I'm therefore submitting that this business of reforming the tax laws of our country and policies will require a more rigorous exercise. We are going to step on toes. Some of those toes are dangerous. But you will need the support of the Nigerian people to impose appropriate taxes on those who are accepted by the government, fraudulently by the government, because we must be treated equally under the law. Unequals must be treated unequally, and equals must be treated equally. Why the law has made a special provision for physically challenged people is because, due to no fault of yours, you may not be able to compete. For instance, the government has breached a part of the law that says within a period of 5 years, all public buildings shall be disability compliant. The government has not done anything about that. So, it is the same thing with taxes. If we want to run Nigeria on the path of social justice, stipulated by Chapter 2 of the Constitution, we must use this current exercise of tax reforms to raise queries and see how the country can generate enough revenue to address the challenge of underdevelopment. I thank you very much.